So, hi guys, I'm SepPine and welcome back to my channel. So, from now on, we are starting rezero on our channel. So, I have watched all the 3 seasons of rezero so far, including the cut contents and the like extra chibi versions, all from Aninews, then Echidna, then more channels. So, I am quite well knowledgeable about rezero and what is going on. So, that's why we're gonna start season 4 on our channel, and I'm really excited. But covering like an anime like ReZero and putting in so much effort is like a self-sabotage for a small channel like mine. But still I'm gonna do it like a passion project. Because if you have seen my Lord of Mysteries series, you must have seen how much effort I put into that reaction, like the TV episodes, analysis, cut contents, then making theories, all those stuffs. If you have still have not seen that whole reaction series of Lord of Mysteries, go watch that. The playlist is still there. But yeah, I'm gonna do the same for ReZero. We will be covering the GB episodes and then the cut contents also. So this is going to be exciting. I'm really excited too. But before going into season 4, we're gonna watch the season 3 full recap by Aninews. That's what we are gonna watch today. And I'll also discuss about stuff from season 3 and how much I remember, how much I can recall, and more things that I would like to discuss. And yeah, that's basically it. So let's go into the video and let's see how much I remember actually.
One year had passed since
Because I watched the season 3 like what, 1 year ago or more, I don't even remember. And I think the season 4 is releasing right now. It is completed or has been releasing for a while now. I don't know, but yeah, I don't really care about those stuff.
Subaru had bested Roswell in the sanctuary, so it was in that time that he received training from Clint, a longtime partner to the Mathers house.
Clint, yes. So from what I remember, after the sanctuary incident, like season 2, 1 year had been passed. No incident happened. Subaru have not died once. And then from this Clint guy, he like trained parkours and stuff and learning how to like use a whip, and the whip was like a gift from Clint from all the training. Like he had succeeded in the training, so as a student, like Clint like asked him what type of weapon he wants, and he like said for like a whip, because whip is like better for parkour and long distance, because we all know Subaru is not a like direct warrior type of fighter. He fight from the shadows with brain. So I think whip suits him, and the whip is I think made from the skin of the Ma beast. I think his name was Guilty Hole, and he has improved on his physicality and parkours also. That's basically what happened.
He would teach Subaru everything from basic survival techniques all the way to how to use his whip properly.
Yeah.
Most importantly though, he would teach Subaru how to act in accordance with his newfound position, Amelia's knight. So, after a year of that, the Amelia camp would one day be visited by Joshua, Julius's younger brother and messenger of Anastasia Hoshin. He had come bringing an invitation, a request to negotiate in the Watergate city of Pristella.
Yeah. This city, which has been in chaos in season 3, like all the archbishops like gathering up here. And what we know so far about this city is that this city was previously meant to be a cage for a witch. I think it was cage for the witch of Pride. I think Witch of Pride. I don't properly recall, but I think it was for Witch of Pride. And the bones of the witch is underground the city, which the archbishops wanted. That's why like the archbishops gathered here, and that was the main goal. And I think it was also mentioned previously, like the Witch of Pride and along with the other witches were killed by like Satela. So yeah, so that's why maybe the soul was taken and then only the bone was remaining here. That's what the archbishops were here for. I don't know, but basically yeah. And then at the end, I think most of the archbishops are, no, I think 2 or 3 of them are dead and 2 of them are like alive.
Did Anastasia have that Amelia wanted? Well, that would be a new magic crystal that could serve as the catalyst for Puck.
Yeah,
so
because
for Amelia was reason enough to
Puck has gone to take milk for a longer amount of time than we expected.
Leading her, Subaru, Beatrice, Garfield, and Otto off to meet Anastasia. At the moment, she alone stood at the forefront of the royal selection, since where before Krush was providing competition at the top, the loss of her memories made her outlook dire. The others were never as favorable as those two were, but with recent movements and accomplishments shifting things around a bit, Anastasia wasn't so far ahead anymore. Amelia, Priscilla, and Felt all had noteworthy influence now. It was once in Pristella that negotiations would lead them to Kiritaka, the heir to...
It's still amazing how Emilia's like camp does not have that much influence still regarding like how much like in this short amount of time how much Subaru and like the Emilia camp has done so much progress, but I don't know, still it was mentioned, I think Anastasia has the most amount of influence right now, and
the biggest trading company in Pristella. The gem Amelia was looking for was currently in his possession.
Yeah, the blue one, right?
Getting to him first had them cross paths with Liliana, the songstress Kiritaka was obsessed with. It was Subaru's treatment of her that would lead negotiations to ruin
because Kiritaka basically likes this girl. This girl looks like a minor, but she's like really old, like over 20 or something. I don't remember, but yeah, she's basically a lolly.
That would have the Amelia camp stay in Pristella for longer. Long enough for the witch cult to commence their own plans.
Yeah. Basically, it was the witch of... I'm forgetting the sins. I'm not that familiar with the name of the sins. But yeah, this was one of the witches. Witch of certain sin. I think it was the witch of anger, but I'm basically forgetting the proper name for anger. But yeah, this was the witch, and this is basically Fortuna. It was revealed like at the end part of the episode. Fortuna, like Emilia's mother, not the real mother, but like who...
Turns out all the other factions would be in the city too, so when the witch cult attacked, demanding the artificial spirit, the Tome of Wisdom, and the witch's remains, it was only natural...
Yeah, it was Witch of Pride. I was correct.
They worked together to stop them. That's the core story I'm gonna focus on, but it was in between that several others were going on as well. Garfield was dealing with some multi-layered trauma regarding his mother, his strength, and what...
Yeah, because it was also revealed that Garfield's mother actually did not die from the landslide. A landslide happened, but I think it was not properly revealed, but his mother somehow survived, and then he was taken by that the current husband of her, and now she's like living a proper happy life with 2 more children, and she does not have any of her memories of what happened, nor of Garfield. And one more interesting thing that all this time Garfield believed that her mother like left them for like a better life, but it was actually that she had gone to like get a better life for them, I think, to like keep them safe, and like she went away alone for some reason. I don't properly remember, but then she was like tortured by the beasts, and like because there was like a conflict going on, so it was like a harsh situation. But I'm glad that she is happy right now, but it is also sad that Garfield's
place in the world was, well, Wilhelm's past and present had come back to haunt him. Those, however, were independent stories not really tied to Season 4, so to keep...
Yeah, but I'll still talk. And that is Reinhardt's...
Those, however, were independent stories.
Reinhardt's grandmother and Wilhelm's wife. And this was the previous Bhan Astria, like the master swordsman. Reinhardt's grandmother, I'm forgetting her name, but yeah, she has like, there was some ancient technique that like is like putting soul back again into a dead body and basically making them do work like how you want. I'm forgetting who started it, but that was basically it. And so basically she's not a like a swordsman anymore. She's not herself anymore. She's basically just like a member of the cult now. And so there was a great fight sequence between Wilhelm and her, and that's why. And it was also revealed that the Vanestria title, like the Master Swordship title, like switches randomly by the god of the world. I think his name was like Od Lagna or something by his. So it was like randomly switched, and before the Great Whale subjugation, and so she went on alone. When she was mid fight, like her Vanastria title like switched to Reinhardt, and she had no idea, so she could not like use any of her powers and like the sword. So that's why like she had to fight alone without any power, so she basically died, and it was switched to Reinhardt. And then like Wilhelm believed Reinhardt, like blamed Reinhardt for it, but it was basically not his fault. But
not
yeah,
really tied
that was
to
basically
season
the
4.
story.
So to keep things focused on what's really important,
At the end she obviously died. I mean, she has died for a long time, but the body also vanished at the end.
Sirius, the Archbishop of Wrath,
Yeah, I couldn't remember that. Anger, Sirius,
would
yes.
make her move first. Her authority to share emotions and senses would result in Subaru's first 3 deaths.
Yeah,
The only 3
that was
he
so
would have for the
stressful
entire season.
in the beginning of the season.
The third would finally have him seek out help from Amelia and Beatrice, a choice which would inevitably bring Regulus into the fold.
Regulus, yeah.
He, as we know, is the Archbishop of Greed, and he would jump in to save Amelia after her having lost her battle against Wrath.
I mean, yeah, he saved her.
Where one Archbishop
That time, at
wanted
least.
revenge on Amelia for taking away her beloved, the other was just securing the hand of a woman he was supposedly promised to
Yeah,
marry.
his wives. Like, he had like a 50 something active wives, but in total, like counting the deads also, or who are not his wife anymore, it was like over 200 or something. I don't remember. But even though he had these many wives, he was still virgin, because he like believes he cannot like unpurify himself like by doing the deed. So like that was basically his thought process. Like he's not a human, so his like thinking process and everything is and beliefs is really odd compared to a normal human being. And it was also mentioned like he destroyed cities and stuff. So yeah,
It was a heated exchange that would serve as Subaru's first real encounter with Regulus. Regulus and his weird authority that made him seem invulnerable. Not knowing how to beat it would ultimately lead to Regulus's victory, so despite Subaru's own authority,
yeah, at the first, like Regulus's power was so like broken, we did not know what to do. Even after like it was figured out, like it was stopping it was like a really big task. Like you had to like freeze this, like stop the hearts of all his wives. And like he has like these many wives, so basically the more amount of wives he has, the more power, like the more safe he is basically.
seeming somewhat effective, it wouldn't be enough to rescue Amelia.
No.
All it did was make Wrath think Subaru was someone he wasn't. So, after maiming
Yeah, Sirius believed like Subaru was Betelgeuse, because basically Subaru like because Betelgeuse was still living inside Subaru basically, but it was like compromised by Satella inside him. So basically it was still living like the soul of Betelgeuse basically. So that's why Sirius saw like Betelgeuse in him.
Subaru's leg and taking their leave, the Archbishops would proceed with the next part of their plan, securing the Watergate control towers and the city's government office. This allowed them to take the city hostage, giving them the leverage needed to make their demands. Specifically, the remains of pride which the entire city of Pristella was built over. The one making the demands was the Archbishop of Lust, a woman who identified herself as Capella Amarata
Lugunica. Now, she was really interesting character, not only because she was the most evil archbishop objectively we have seen so far, but and her character design and how all the people were simping on her, excluding these things, the Lugunica name was very important, because the Lugunica name is only given to the royal member of the country. So basically but she has that. And Emeralda Lugunica, I think it was a princess long time ago in Lugunica, who was known for like she was really evil sadist, then she like disappeared, and like everyone was happy basically, and everyone thought like she was taken down by the disease or whatever happened. But maybe her memory was also like recycled and turned into like a archbishop, like just like Reinhardt's grandmother. So maybe she is the Emerald Lugnik, and she has the royal blood, and also like the blonde hair. The eyes are not properly red, but yeah. Also like felt is basically she was like kidnapped by Reinhardt's father like a long time ago. So and that was also one more reason why like Wilhelm was gone from the like the Great Welsh subjugation, and he was like trying to find the royal princess, because she was kidnapped by basically Reinhardt's father. So like all these things were going on.
It was a name Wilhelm knew a certain royal family member bore almost 50 years ago. Al also seemed to have a connection to Tifon, so
Al was really suspicious, like really suspicious in the previous season. So like basically it seems like all the connections are making it seem like that Al is also Subaru from the Chippy episodes, and like the clues, his dialogue patterns, like he is also a Subaru, but from a failed timeline basically, like where Subaru did not choose the path to fight all the archbishops, but from a timeline where Subaru only focused on saving Emilia. That is what it is currently seeming like. There are so many similarities, like how Subaru's right leg was cut, but Al's left hand. Then I think the face was shown close up, then like some people like color corrected it, and it was seeming like the sharp eyes of Subaru. Then how Al reacts around Emilia, how his talking pattern and his jokes, his humor, like, and him disappearing, then him closing the water gate to like help the help with the fighting of the archbishops. And he also like killed like all the other members, like where Kiritaka is like the 23 like man for something, where Kiritaka only survived, but he killed all the other members to only secure that none of them are like member of the cult or something like that. So Earl is really suspicious.
it was clear
basically
everything going on went deeper than anyone thought. How deep, no one knew, but what came first was the objective of defeating these archbishops. The first step of which was to secure the government office. A request from Garfield's mother would send him there first, leading him to confront the two witch cultists we later know as Kurgan and Teresia.
Yeah. Kurgan, he was a one strong man. Like he was, I think, from the city or town which like Regulus destroyed. I don't properly remember, but like where like the people are like of a different species and had like 4 arms, where from Kurgan was, and Kurgan was like the top soldier from there.
Neither him nor Mimi would be a match for them, so both would return back to the Allied operation headquarters injured. The nature of Mimi's wound would reveal Teresia's identity, so it was from that Wilhelm knew.
Yeah, like the blessing of the Grim Reaper. Basically, who hits them, hits a person with the Grim Reaper sword or with the blessing. Like the closer they are, the wound would like open up, and farther they are, like the wound would like close up again. But basically, there is no other way to heal it. And there was one more thing that was like cut from the anime, that Wilhelm has a like cut on his shoulder, which was in the manga I think, or in the cut content, that he felt it like it was like in end of the season 2 or something. It was like really a long time ago. In the manga it was shown like his wound was opening up, and when he started to actually believe in Subaru, he showed that wound to Subaru, that it is like opening up again. So basically Theresia or his wife is somewhere closer, and basically it was revealed in season 3.
He could finally get some closure. So, with a joint group of him, Garfield, Krush, Subaru, Julius, and Ricardo, they would lead an assault on the government office. Al was supposed to be there right alongside them, but he had other business searching for his own princess.
Yeah, but he was not there to search his princess. He was just killing the cult members and closing the water gate. And also one more suspicious thing about Earl that no one pointed out. I think only Subaru noticed that he can speak English words. But I think that is not that suspicious because I think Subaru now knows he's from the same town, basically Japan, like how Subaru is.
He did, however, leave them with
And he also has like some kind of power, basically like returning from death, but not exactly that, maybe something similar. And like his this scale is like these are always like very suspicious. And one more theory was that maybe Al's face is like really distorted from all the fights and stuff, and like maybe burnt. That's why he always wears that cover. And he also like his head, back of the head, also has like a very strong smell of the witch's miasma, just like Subaru. So yeah, so so I believe he can be like the Archbishop of Pride, because that spot is empty.
last bit of advice, and that was not to give your real name to gluttony. How he knew that, we don't know, but it's clear Al knows a lot more than he tends to.
He literally said it, like he literally said it in front of Julius, and Julius is hearing all this, but still he made a major mistake telling the name to the Archbishop of Gluttony, like in the series, and then obviously his
How
name
he knew
was
that,
eaten.
we don't know, but it's clear Al knows a lot more than he tends to put on. In any case, it was once the battle commenced that everyone would be split into their own matchups. Ricardo and Garfield would face off against Kurgan, Wilhelm against Teresia, Julius against Roy, then Krush and Subaru against Capella. The fight with Capella would reveal what her authority.
And yeah, there are two gluttonies so far, and I think it was also shown. I'm like forgetting, like the third Archbishop of Gluttony. I think in the series, like he was a old like a old manly dude, but then turned into a little girl. Like she's the third like sister of the like the Archbishop of Gluttony, and the proof was that like they are all three like part of one constellation, and like the other two, Roy and the other one, was like revealed. So basically there was a possibility from the beginning that they would be a third one also.
And that was to transform and transfigure herself and anyone else into whatever she desired. For her, that meant becoming anything and anyone while often surviving wounds that would be fatal, while for everyone else, one touch was all it took to do the same to them. Subaru would see this firsthand with the flies,
still
then he
looks
would
like
later
really
experience
invincible.
it firsthand with his leg.
Yeah, flies.
Capella would then drop her dragon blood on both Subaru and Krush, exposing both to the curse existing within it. Krush would fall ill due to
like the dragon's blood has like some kind of curse. Like it heals everything, but it's also like really painful and makes you ugly. Like there is some kind of curse, like the blood is cursed. I forgot, or I don't think it was mentioned what the curse was about. And basically Cruz's face was like distorted, moreover her memory is gone, like more issues obviously. But I think the face part was like still recovered by Subaru, because since Subaru's leg also has a dragon blood, obviously Subaru's legs can now like heal as many times as possible, and is much more stronger. But other thing also, like he can take up the wound from like the dragon blood from other bodies also. So I think Subaru helped her a lot by taking up like really good amount of the dragon blood from her, and like it is now on Subaru's hands too, I think.
Her body's rejection of it, while Subaru would have what appeared to be a symbiotic relationship with it.
Yeah, her body rejected it, but his body, like it was also mentioned in the cut content, like he's inside like the Ma Beast and all the like the previous curse. It like the previous curse was from the Ma Beast, and the guilty hole was compromised, but it was still within him. Like that curse and then this dragon curse, like both fought, and like the dragon curse took over it. So that's why Subaru was able to take control of it.
Somehow his leg would grow back despite it having been ripped off mere moments ago. That said, it was apparent only his leg exhibited any of the powers unique to this dragon blood. Now, with things looking as dire as they were, if not for Al flooding the city after taking back one of the water gates, Subaru never would have gotten the opportunity.
Yeah, he opened it, not closed it. I think I was saying closed it.
To escape.
Al closed it, but no,
that would
he
then
opened
have
it.
him cross paths with Priscilla, revealing how mob beasts were now roaming the city, most of the population
And
were
Priscilla's sword too. Like Priscilla's sword is really strong. I forgot the name, but it is some the sword of sun or something. Like that sword is like on the list of the top weapons in Rezero's world. One being the sword of Reinhardt, which is the Vanastia sword, and the master swordsman's sword, and the and one of the other sword is Priscilla's sword
hiding
too.
in shelters, and the influence of Wrath's authority was slowly eating away at them. Liliana's divine protection did serve as a counter though, so whenever
Yeah.
she sang, those who were soul-washed would be freed. At least temporarily. It was after that Subaru would meet up with Julius, and he would reveal that their headquarters had been attacked. This had forced everyone to relocate, so now they were stationed at the government office. In the meantime, Amelia would be getting acquainted with what home life was like
Yeah.
with Regulus, all while patiently waiting for Subaru, who she knew would save her. A little sneaking around would have her make
But yeah, previously, like the proof that Emilia has changed after the sanctuary incident and like the going through the trials is that previously she would have not believed in Subaru and also like panicking and then like solely depending on Subaru too. Like those many things, she was too dependent on Subaru, but now like she is her own independent. She believes that Subaru will rescue her, but she also is trying to do more progress here too and do her own thing whatever she can so far.
contact with Thal, a conversation that provided some insider information on
Yeah, here this part, how Al was talking to Emilia, it was so similar to
which
how
Archbishop was where.
Subaru speaks.
This allowed the allies to create the best matchups for themselves, but not before first creating a bit of hope for everyone else. You see, with despair slowly spreading and accumulating with the help of Wrath's authority, it was Subaru and his speech which would alleviate
Yeah,
things.
that speech was great, and this speech was great for the reason that a simple man with no powers, like Subaru was telling it, because soldiers, royal members, they all know, like the people know, they are all like politicians. They say lie all the time. They are like courageous. They can say whatever they want, and they are probably safe. There are many more thinking process going on in the people's head who are like in fear, like somewhere. But a man like Subaru, who has faced it all, and is a normal person, can like make it more relatable with all the other persons, and people can relate to it more. That's why like the speech was that's why
That,
great.
though, is that this would be a turning point for Subaru. It was the moment he evolved from just the hero of a single girl to become everyone's hero.
Yeah,
Al
that
didn't
was
necessarily agree with that since
and it was also mentioned that the archbishops listened to all this, but they just did not care. That's why they did not stop it, because they are archbishops. Their thinking process are not similar to a normal human being, so that's why they just do not care. They are archbishops. Like it just gives them more like unfamiliarity feeling to the archbishops. And yeah, obviously Al did not agree with it, because his philosophy is just save your own lady, basically just save Emilia and do not care about the other people. But Subaru's oath is that he will always try to save everyone if he is able to, and I think that was his oath too with Roswell. I think that he has to save every person from like the Emilia camp, the main
to him, he
faces.
felt all this was being forced on Subaru. And for Subaru to be so bold as to accept it, well, that would be
Al was
nothing more
mad,
than
kinda.
heroic delusion. Well,
Heroic
Subaru
delusion,
would
that
accept
episode.
this role anyway, and in doing so, he would do exactly what he had set out to do. Sure,
Yeah.
he might be unfit to carry everyone's hopes on his shoulders, but with no one else to do it, that just made it part of the job for him. So, after one of the greatest bits of dialogue since Rem's speech in episode 18,
Yeah,
Thus-
I'll still say Rem's speech was better. Like not only Rem's speech, obviously Rem's speech was good, along with the Subaru speech, like how like he opening up about his vulnerabilities and how weak he actually is, and then along with the Rem speech, like the whole episode 18, I think that was probably first, and then the second monologue coming this.
This began the first steps towards a counterattack. It was while planning it that Priscilla would join up to help out.
Counterattack, yeah.
Otto would reveal he was the one who brought the Tome of Wisdom in order to have it repaired.
Oh yeah, he took the Tomb of Wisdom and gave it to like a old guy to repair it. Like it was burned into ashes, obviously. But yeah.
Then Subaru would discover he could absorb some of Crush's curse.
Yeah.
He wasn't able to take it all, but at the very least he was able to relieve her pain a bit.
I mean, he would have been able to take it all. It's just, I think, Felix stopped him, or someone stopped him. So basically he just stopped, but he could have taken it all, but he took a great amount of time, and it was really painful to like
After
take it.
came
So
deciding
Subaru
who
did a great
would
job.
face who, and the eventual matchups would be this: Priscilla and Liliana versus Wrath, Reinhardt and
Yeah.
Subaru versus Greed, Wilhelm
Yeah.
versus Teresia, Garfield versus Kurgan, Al versus Lust, then Ricardo and Julius versus Gluttony. Each I'd actually talked about individually, so if you want to see the full extent of any of those, the links to them will
I've
be
seen
down
all
in
of
the
them.
description.
If you have not seen, you can go see.
In any case, the rest of the season would be more action than plot. Subaru would deduce
Yeah,
Regulus's
basically.
authority using the help of the stars, and that in turn would allow him, Amelia, and Reinhardt to beat him.
Yeah, Subaru. Basically, the names of the archbishops are here from the like the stars of the constellations from Subaru's Earth. So like that's why Subaru has the knowledge of the constellation, and that's why he could figure out what the meaning of Regulus's power and name is. But that's the thing. Why is it that the names of the constellation, like the name of the archbishops, are from the stars of the constellation in the human world? Like, is there someone who has link with the both of the worlds, like making the archbishops, giving them the positions, like giving them the grammar, like the Tomb of Wisdom?
It did require the help of his
We don't
wives
know.
too, though, since if not for them allowing Amelia to freeze them, their hearts never would have stopped and Regulus never would have become susceptible to attacks.
Yeah.
Priscilla and
Yeah, Emilia's fight was really cool
Liliana
in
would
the
have
previous
no
season.
problem taking care of Wrath, but she wouldn't meet her end the same way Regulus did. Keep in mind, Priscilla did get triggered by the name drop of certain stories, and that's something we'll find out why in the next season.
Yeah, so let's talk about this part more, like Priscilla versus Sirius. Basically, Priscilla has some kind of past that we don't know of. I don't remember the names, but Sirius says like some kind of names. I'm assuming that Priscilla did not like and got more agitated. That's the first part. Second part is like her powers. She has like Priscilla has like many lives. Like the jewelry she has, she can like keep as many lives she can, like in her jewelries. That is her power. And also we don't know the, I think, full extent of the power of the sword that she has. It's like it gets more power in the sun or something. Like it was mentioned like she was not at her full power or something like that.
Garfield's battle with Kurgan would finally have him overcome his trauma with Elsa, showing
Yeah.
him all he needed to do was get stronger. If he wasn't strong enough to hold all the new things he now held dear, then all he needed to do was get to a point at which he could.
Yeah, I mean the fight with Kurgan and the animation, that episode was crazy. And obviously he like Garfield got the respect of Kurgan at the end too, like a warrior like him. And he does not respect everyone, he just respects like true warriors and true strong people, and Garfield achieved that actually. So that's really great.
Wilhelm, Heinkel, and Reinhardt would all be there for Teresa.
Yeah. Oh, and Sirius is still alive, by the way. I remember that. She's like trapped by us now. And Siri is not answering anything useful, so she's like a dead weight right now. But yeah. And this scene, yeah.
Teresia's end provided. Wilhelm, Heinkel, and Reinhardt would all be there for Teresia's end.
Yeah, and Theresia, I forgot the name. Like Reinhardt's grandmother, her name is Theresia, the previous master swordman. So she obviously died. She lost to Wilhelm, because this is obviously not the. She does not have the blessings anymore. She is not the master swordman anymore, or would have obviously won. But this is not the Theresia that they all used to know. This is obviously like a dead body who has been given a soul and now a member of the cult. So basically she had to die. But yeah, and the one to end the job was obviously Reinhardt, because Reinhardt always follows his job as a hero. Basically, like there was a famous dialogue like, Reinhardt, you are a hero and that's all you will ever be by Puck, I think, in season 1. That was really interesting. And that just shows time and time like how Reinhardt basically is the like fighting labor. Obviously, he's really strong, like the strongest in this, I think, Rezero universe. But yeah, still he still can't do everything alone. That just shows over and time and time. And then obviously Wilhelm was like not happy about it that Reinhardt just killed his own grandmother. But obviously Reinhardt did the right thing there because that is not Theresa anymore. But Wilhelm is just too blind in like
providing at least
emotions.
Wilhelm the closure he very much needed. It's not like the relationships were magically fixed, but
No.
with Theresia returning to
I at least hope that the relationships would be fixed somehow a little, but no.
her former self for just a moment, she was able to at least set the path for all of them to move forward. Al's
Move
battle with
forward? I don't think so. I think just Wilhelm just became more distant with Reinhardt and said something along the lines that Reinhardt, go do your job as like the swordsman or job as the hero, like something like a sarcastic tone.
didn't
I don't remember
necessarily
properly.
end in victory, but he did at least get her to leave. That wasn't
Oh,
before
yeah,
Al had
Capella.
realized something was up with Anastasia, since the Anastasia he knew wasn't capable of using magic.
Yes, we knew that from season 1 that Anastasia cannot use magic, but she was suddenly able to do magic in season 3. Like, she is really suspicious, and it's not a coincidence that she like gave the suggestion to Emilia Camp and like everyone else to come to Pristella. There has to be some more knowledge that she has that anyone other does not have, and is like hiding something really important from everyone else that we don't know of. So Anastasia is also pretty sus.
No,
Just like
whoever
Al.
this was an imposter.
And Kapila just went away, I think, because it was like just like the Tomb of, I think the archbishops are just following what the Tomb of Wisdom said. So she was just basically following it, and she just went
Finally
away.
came the battle with Gluttony, the one which would set in motion the events of season 4.
Yeah,
Here it's revealed Roy
basically.
had eaten the name of Julius's brother Joshua, and Lai was preparing his own feast while fighting the
By Battle Kintos, I think this guy's name was, who ate the identity of Rem. Basically, there's two things you can do. You can they can eat the memory of a certain person and then eat the person's name. And like basically what happened with Cruz was that they ate the memory of Cruz, but with Rem they like just ate Rem's name. So Rem does not have the memory of anyone, plus no one has the memory of Rem. So basically that. And while fighting with Roy, I think Julius said his name, and then obviously Roy ate his name, not memories, just name. But yeah, Bai ate both of Rem, like the name plus the memories. But Roy, I think, ate only Julius's, like only not memories, only identity, because Julius remembers everyone but not anyone other remembers Julius.
White Dragon Scales and Otto. It was while doing so, he was preparing his own feast while fighting the White Dragon Scales and Otto.
Yeah,
it was while doing so that all who Lai had eaten would be put on full display, including Rem, whom Beatrice immediately recognized.
Yeah, and through the dialogues, I think we got to know that Julius's brother, I'm forgetting his name, Joshua, is like has already been eaten. It was not directly shown, I think, or said, but from the dialogues of Roy, it is like pointed that out. By the dialogues, I think it was pretty clear. And basically, the more memories and names they eat, like they have all the memories of those persons too,
as the person Subaru was trying to save. It's for that reason she knew Subaru could never see Lai, as the emotional tactics he used would be far too damaging for him.
Yeah, because they obviously, as I said, they have like all the memories of the persons and their names, and like they have eaten so far. So obviously, like
it's for that reason she knew Subaru could never see Lai, as the emotional tactics he used would be far too damaging for him.
Yeah, like Subaru is too sensitive over them. He would not be able to fight. Like they just were taunting everyone about like about their familiar ones,
would use
like
the
all the
magic
time.
Crystals intended for Puck, each supplying enough mana to cast one great spell of magic. She
Okay.
really only needed to save one of them, so that meant she could use 5 of them. So it was these combined with the media staff Felt just so happened to have that Beatrice and Felt would be able to stop Lie.
Yeah, that thing.
That meant she could use 5 of them. So it was these combined with the media staff Felt just so
Yeah, this thing, this wand, like Felt brought. It had some like magical powers or something. I forgot what the powers were.
happened to have that Beatrice and Felt would be able to stop Lie.
Yeah.
He, however, would be saved by Rui, the third
Rui, the
Archbishop
third
of
gluttony.
Gluttony and younger sister to Lie.
Younger
How that
sister.
happened comes down to her authority, but the specifics of that we're still yet to find out.
What?
Happened comes down to her authority, but Gluttony and younger sister to Lie. How that happened comes down to her authority, but the specific.
So, does she have some unique authority compared to her brothers? Maybe because she was like missing from the whole plot the entire time. She just showed up like the at the end. So I don't know.
Of that,
and she was previously like a old big dude, but then
we're still
she
yet
turned
to
into
find
this
out.
body.
So she would take her leave just like how Capella did, bringing an end to the final battle for the city of Pristella.
Yeah.
In the end, 2 archbishops had gotten away, but with Regulus defeated and Sirius captured,
Yeah, Regulus basically died because like when everyone's heart was stopped, like every one of the wives, his heart was now the real one. So it was mentioned like his powers are like a game pause. So basically, if you paused a game like that situation, so like you are invincible, no one can kill you. So if he's like he was in a trance state, like he was falling down in to the core of the earth. So basically if he stops his heart, like uses his power, then he would just fall through, and if he tries to not stop his heart, he would just take fall damage, and like both
that
are
was definitely a
bad.
victory.
That's how Regulus died. And it was also Regulus backstory was also pretty shown, like he had an like distant mother and then alcoholic father. I think that kind of like backstory was mentioned, not in the anime, I think in the cut content. And then like he had an like entire like a big monologue in the manga, I think, or in the novel. Then obviously he died from fall damage, like his entire body was mangled. And for Sirius, yeah, she was still alive.
Archbishops did what they did, they were simply gathering under the instruction of the gospel.
As
they
I
were
said.
doing what it said the same way Roswell once did. All the archbishops followed the gospel for different reasons, so despite it seeming
Yeah, like the only one who actually tried to like reawaken the witch, like the witch of envy, was only like Betelgeuse. These archbishops have like entirely different goal. They don't even care about the witch. They even hate it, I would say. But
like they were trying to revive the witch of envy,
but still they follow the gospel for some reason, we don't know.
their real motivations differ depending on who you're talking to. Like for Wrath, she simply did it in order to be reunited with her beloved.
And she actually hates the Witch of Envy because basically Witch of Envy basically killed Betelgeuse in a sense. So that's why like she hates her. So
anything beyond that, she didn't have a clue. Anything
but
beyond
still,
that, she didn't have a
she's
clue.
still Archbishop.
She did, however, give a warning about gluttony, as the 3 aspects of them were dangerous.
Yeah, gourmet, then foul feeding, satiation. Basically the 3 siblings of gluttony. Basically gourmet was I think lie, because he is like a very fancy. He does not eat everyone's memory. He's like really picky with it. So like a gourmet meal, really fancy. It's like a really fancy dinner for him. And then foul feeding is basically Roy, because he eats everyone's memory and name, so he does not care. And satiation is basically so satiation has to be Rui. And the interesting part of Rui is her name is like written as Louis but pronounced as Rui. So yeah.
Both the Subaru and her. If her goal was to revive the parts of Betelgeuse resting within Subaru, then Subaru getting his identity erased wasn't conducive to that. So it's for that reason Sirius would warn him. It's from here that everyone would go about deciding what to do next. starting with Reinhard and Felt taking on the task of transporting Sirius to the capital. Capella's victims would be frozen next, kept in an icy slumber until the Amelia camp could figure out a way to save them.
Yeah.
Crucial.
And yeah, Garfield's mother's current husband, I think, was turned into the dragon who helped Subaru to escape. Subaru and Cruz.
And from her curse, Otto as well due to the attack by Rui. Then finally we get to Julius and his own dire circumstances.
Yeah.
With him having lost his identity to gluttony too. That along with all the other victims would be the driving factor for the events of Season 4. Bringing us to the end of the events of Season 4.
Yeah, and since Subaru has the certain power, he does not lose memory or forget anyone. He did not forget Rem, and now he did not forget about Julius too. We don't know about still his memory though, because his memory still has not been eaten. It's just the other person's identity that he can still remember. So we don't know about his memory yet. What will happen if someone tries, any of the gluttony tries to eat his identity, what will happen. So that would be really interesting to see. But yeah, he just dies because it's like a existential crisis. Knowing a thing he should not know. So yeah, he died at the end of the Season 3.
This doesn't cover everything, but it should at least get you prepared for Season 4. Now, if you liked the video, then leave a like, and if
yeah, I liked it. So that's basically the video. If you have not watched it, you can go watch Aninews video. The link will be in the description. Go show him support. But yeah, that was basically it for the recap. It was a long recap. I think I talked a lot. It's my job. I like to discuss about things. I think I remember most of the things what happened in Season 3 and recalled the things that I did not remember too now. And now I think we are both fully prepared for Season 4. And I'll start with Season 4 Episode 1 soon. See ya.